Hey, it's Shaw TV's Kevin Hirschfield down here at the Subway Soccer South Complex at the University of Manitoba, where they play more than just soccer here, including touch and flag football. And that's what we're here to talk about today. We've got Jonathon Franklin with us from the Pit Touch and Flag Football League here in Winnipeg. Jonathon, thank you so much for joining us, first of all. For those of us who do not know, the Pit Touch and Flag Football League, give us a breakdown. How long do you guys play? How often is it? And just some other rules about the league.
Well, we've been in existence now for 8 years. We play outdoor during the summer, and then during the indoor season we play at the Subway Soccer South Complex. We're here Friday and Saturday evenings, and we run actually 3 seasons, one in the fall, one in the winter, and one in the spring.
So PIT, does that stand for anything, or do you guys just, is that an acronym for something, or is that a term that you guys just use basically?
Right. Well, we started off as purely an indoor league. So the PIT actually stood for the Players Indoor Touch Football League. But then when we expanded to outdoor, we just shortened it and just called it the PIT, and that's kind of what we use from here on out.
Real punchy name, real catchy. I like that name,
easy
for
to
sure.
Remember, so.
For sure. So touch and flag football, I mean, a lot of the same rules as regular tackle football, a lot of similarities, but some notable differences as well. What are some of those big differences that you have when you play touch and flag over tackle?
Well, the obvious difference is obviously there's no contact and no tackling. So I think it actually brings out a much more skilled football game. So receivers have a lot more room to run, quarterbacks have a little bit more time to throw the ball, defenses can apply different zone coverages. So it's I find it a little bit more of a skilled game compared to tackle, and it's also you know what, you can get up in the morning and still go to work and not have any problems when you're playing some touch.
Is this one or two-hand touch? What's the common way to do touch football out there?
It is a one-hand touch. If it is flagged, they do have flags that they would have to be pulled, but in terms of the touch football, yeah, it's one-hand touch anywhere sort of below the shoulders.
You said different skills may be needed to play this. So would a tackle football player, a good tackle football player, if they came out here, would they necessarily dominate, or would it be a little bit different for them? Would they have to kind of adjust to something?
It's definitely a transition period for a lot of the tackle players. We do have a lot of the bison players, rifle players. We do have a lot of professional and ex-professional CFLers that have played in our league. Obviously, athletically, they're going to be very gifted, but it does take a little bit of time to kind of transition into the touch game, because there are some nuances that help us that haven't played at that level still compete with the top players.
Right. So what are the numbers like in the Pit League? Have they gone up, gone down in recent years, and why do you think that trend is happening?
We've sustained pretty exponential growth, actually. We started off with just 40 teams 8 years ago. Now we're running at almost 400 teams over the course of the year. That's split across 4 seasons. But in our fall season, which is one of our smaller indoor seasons, we have 100 teams in the upcoming league. In the winter, we'll probably expect between 150 and 160 teams. So we have got sustained growth over the last 8 years. So it's been really great, with a lot more people in the football community coming out and playing some touch football.
All right, and all sorts of divisions, I imagine, too, right? Like a lower division to a higher division. Is that kind of what happens here as well?
Yeah, we have every skill level, from basically, like I said, all of the sort of the ex-tackle players down to a very recreational league. We have a masters league for people that are over the age of 40. We have co-ed leagues if the female players want to come in and play. So we definitely run the gambit of any skill level that you could possibly think of.
And if you want to know how competitive it gets, this guy right here just recently came back from the National Touch Football Championships in Hamilton as part of one of the Manitoba teams. I mean, how did that go? How did the Manitoba teams do? And how cool was that for you guys to go to?
Yeah, we sent 2 Manitoba teams out to nationals this year. Unfortunately, the Manitoba teams fell a little bit short. The Hamilton team won the national champions. But Manitoba has won the national championships once before. In 2011, the team that we sent out there for the first time ever had won a national championship. This year didn't go quite as well, but we're hoping next year that we'll be able to send some teams that'll be able to compete with the top teams out east.
All right, so for those of us looking to get into the Pit League, we're in the midst of the fall season now, but like you mentioned, you've got a few seasons to choose from. So when do the folks have their next opportunity to sign up for the Pit League?
Yeah, the next registration period will open up in December, and that's for a mid-January start. People can always check our website at pitfootball.com, pitfootball.com. It would have all the information for both player registration and team registration. So even if you don't have a team and you want to register as an individual, there is the ability to do that as well.
All right, Jonathon Franklin, thank you so much for joining us. That is the Pit Touch and Flag Football League right here in Winnipeg.